the most beautiful place ever.
Yeah,
Food up there with the worst ever.
that's insane when you think about that. Because I
Like,
can't.
Mate,
It's too
can you
cheap
can you
either.
boys hear me?
Yeah.
yeah.
This prick will always find something to complain about, won't he?
No, honestly, Tone,
Always.
we're
It's the
leaving as
most
a
beautiful
family.
place in the world, but the food's terrible.
It is honestly like packet food every lunch and dinner. It is honestly so bad that we're leaving 3 days early.
How have they got it so
Kids
wrong?
won't eat anymore. I think, to be honest with you, I think from talking to them, I think they really struggle. I wonder if the tariffs have got anything to do, but I think they really struggle with getting produce here. And the chefs, I think they really struggle getting actual, like any decent chef here. You wouldn't believe how bad it is.
That's mad.
It's honestly like Minnie has made the food.
Uh,
Like you're okay if you want a burger, like a
yeah.
burger and chips or something like that. If you want to eat that every single meal, you'd probably be okay. But it's like it's but the place is the most gorgeous place you'd ever seen on earth.
It looks amazing, you know. It
Like
looks
it is.
superb.
So, and if you said to me, "Am I gutted I came?" No, not at all. Like, I've had a really, really good time, but that bit is just the killer.
I can't believe that. That's just mental for a place like that. And the
It
food.
doesn't make sense, does it? It
No.
doesn't
No,
make sense.
and that's what you wouldn't believe it. Like, and it's, do you know what? Even the when we were at the Four Seasons, it was bad, and they really apologized. They said like we hear this all the time. Like the staff were fantastic. Like literally, probably the best ever again. And then in the end, they took all our food off the bill. Like, and hotels don't do that if it's that bad. But they said, look, yeah, we know. Like honestly, I got like a Caesar salad. It was like getting a packet salad out of a garage, like putting it all in, put like a bit of mayo on it, and then like them croutons that like just thrown it in. That was it, and it was like you were eating it, and like it wasn't even fresh.
You would have
And you
thought the
were like,
seafood would be like world class there if like you're right in the middle of it all.
most of
You
it,
would imagine, yeah, yeah, that's
some of
true.
it, I've had two bits that were okay. Like, it all tastes frozen.
It's fucking
The
mental.
steak
I
is
mean,
fine.
listen, it's an island in the
It
middle of
is.
nowhere, right?
That
So
is exactly that.
yeah,
Honestly,
But so,
just
oh yeah, but
literally,
so is the
if I
wine.
if I turn it around, like you'll see like the back view of our garden, right? Look at the wall,
It's
yeah,
paradise.
right? It is.
pretty, yeah.
And where the bottom of that ocean is, there is literally sharks just swimming around.
Are they really?
Like it's in like when you say like he's the most insane. Like Andrew just caught a full octopus a minute ago.
Andrew, what?
Just caught an octopus just down there a second ago.
Mate, you should probably eat that. That probably tastes better.
Yeah,
But
eat that.
that's
Yeah.
what we said. That's what the kids said as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm so glad we came here. Like it was, I'm really glad. But there's not much to do here, so you kind of you run out of stuff.
Yeah.
But good. I'm looking forward to getting back now.
It
Weather's
looks
gonna.
amazing, though, mate. It looks absolutely like
It,
just
and it is
superb.
actually going on the aeroplane to here. It's like like you can't stop looking out the window. Like it's just the most crystal blue water you've ever
Yeah.
seen.
How long
Like,
did
it's
you fly?
gorgeous.
Where'd you fly
And
to?
the weather's a bit iffy as well. Like it rains a lot. Like yesterday, like we've had sort of 3 days of shitty rain and it hammers down, then it stops. Like today's been
But
all
it's
right.
nice, though, isn't it? Because the sky becomes purple, and it's like,
Yes. Yes, like it did. Like when we was in the first hotel, it rained. Weirdly, it hammered down 30 seconds and then it went bright blue sky, right? That was like,
yeah, yeah.
The
yes,
weather.
it's been like for the last few days, it's been grey, raining all day, like on and off. So there's not anything you can do. So that is in it, but it's still fun. We're gonna leave.
Didn't you tell me that you're now a positive person?
Yep, and that's why I said
Well, then fucking
I'm
buck
not,
up, sunshine.
I'm not upset
You're
that
good to
I came.
go.
Right, let's get into it. We've written an episode this week. Right.
See, Fluminense just knocked into Milan out of the Club World Cup.
Did they? I didn't see that. No,
2-0.
No,
no.
because I haven't watched any of the Club World Cup. I'm going to start with that. So we're starting. We'll start on that note.
What was that game I
Right.
messaged you about? The first one I watched about the first 20 minutes. It was two South American teams.
Both
Um,
Palmeiras.
yes, that was it. And it was like watching a Sunday league game. And I'm not saying that those teams are not good. I'm just saying that I really don't think any of them are taking it seriously.
But I was
I
going
really don't.
absolutely mental with the Chelsea game because it kicked off at 1 o'clock and it finished at 5. It was like
Doesn't bode well for the World Cup here, does it?
that's
It
what I said.
doesn't, does it? But you know what,
Imagine that
though?
happening at the World Cup final. Like, imagine that happening
Where's the World Cup final going to be?
New Jersey.
MetLife
Is
Stadium.
it in SoFi?
No,
No.
Oh, sorry. Not SoFi. That's in LA.
MetLife Stadium.
MetLife. All right, that's where we're going. When we're
Yeah,
there
for
next
Oasis.
month, aren't we? So
Yeah.
the thing is, obviously, the World Cup final is going to be of an evening. I would imagine, at least. I don't know,
But
though.
maybe it's
Maybe it
not
won't
because
because
obviously
that's a
to do it.
terrible time for Europe, isn't it?
It'll be a 12 or 1 o'clock kickoff because it's 8 o'clock in Europe.
Yeah. I think that is the actual truth. That's why this
Yeah,
Club World
that's
Cup at that
yeah.
time played
Imagine they had to
back.
postpone the World Cup
But you know,
final because of weather.
but let me just explain because having just sat through it and watched the absolute nonsense. So how they break it down, yeah. So Chelsea game was fine. Gets to the 86th minute. All of a sudden, the cameras panned out to like storm clouds in the distance. Yeah, wasn't raining, wasn't lightning, nothing. What then happens with FIFA is if a thunderstorm appears within 10 miles of where a game is currently being played, they have to automatically stop the game and get everyone
Which,
off.
as opposed to safety, they have to do it because otherwise, if they carried it on and someone got struck by lightning.
But that was Maresca's point, wasn't it?
But let me just caveat it. It was 10 miles away. This was the 86th minute of the game. They could have finished that game. If it was in the second or third minute, you might have a point, Sam, because you've still got a good half of football to play. But this was the 86th minute. There was maximum maybe 3 or 4 minutes of injury time. So you got 7 minutes left. They took all the players off. Just think how adrenaline pumped you still are at that point. Like you're just trying to see out a last 16 game of a knockout competition. And then you've all got to get dragged off the pitch. It was like they gave no announcements about the delays. We all thought it would be like a 10-minute delay because it wasn't raining. And they kept cutting back to the stadium and people are like looking around like what the fuck's going on? Like, where's the lightning? Where's the rain? But it was all 10 miles away.
So it happened to me last year in Florida. I went and watched West Ham in Jacksonville.
I remember.
And when we got there, it hammered down. Like when I say it came up, the water was up to our knees. They delayed the kickoff, I think, for around 4 hours. And now I thought there's no way that you're even going to be able to do that. But they must have drainage where it happens often because they played on the pitch. But it was 4 hours later. We had the kids there. It killed it. It was awful.
So with the Chelsea game, it didn't even rain.
No, I know.
Not one drop of rain struck the pitch or a bit of lightning. It was 10 miles away. So they then got 25 minutes through it, yeah. And what they have is they have a 30-minute clock where they start the clock from where the last lightning strike is. And then if you get another lightning strike, it starts the clock again. So
isn't that bananas?
So we got to 28 minutes. We got to 28 minutes in the Chelsea game, and we're all like, please, 120 fucking seconds. Please, please, please. Fucking lightning strike comes in on the 29th minute. They start the clock again.
Is that what happened? Literally.
That's why it went on for 2 hours.
Wow. Maresca, I saw Maresca's comments, and obviously Klopp had comment yesterday as well saying thinks it's the biggest waste of time ever, this tournament. And
he said the worst decision ever, didn't he?
I actually saw Sky Sports reporter Carvey this morning, or yesterday morning.
That really smug little prick. He's a little smug fucking nugget, that fella.
He was having a real dig at Klopp, saying, "Well, don't watch it. Then go and watch Paddle. Watch this. Watch that."
But
he wasn't arguing Klopp's point though. That's the point with that.
Because let's be honest with you. Let's just call this what it is. It's a money grab. This is all it is.
Exactly.
That's all it is. Yeah. And people,
of course, it is.
People are a bit upset that people are actually calling it out for what it is.
And by the way, it's not just a money grab; it's a land grab because what FIFA are trying to do is take this takes away from the MLS. This takes away from domestic US teams.
It's all terrible. the whole thing. You've got a Club World Cup with not the best teams in it. You've got teams that didn't actually qualify in Inter Milan going and getting spanked by PSGs and things like that
Into
because they didn't
Miami.
qualify into Miami. Yes,
Yeah,
sorry, not into Milan at all. Into Miami, who it didn't even qualify, got put in it, got spanked. That's why you don't just put teams in out of merit. And you've got part-time teams. Unfortunately, it was a money grab. It hasn't worked. It is, and they people have got the Americans have kind of got what you deserved. I think, sadly, we got to get used to it. Football's gone.
yeah.
It is this way.
Don't say it's gone. Don't say it's not gone,
Did you
is it?
see the video I sent the pod Instagram yesterday?
The what?
I sent
What
them a
one?
blinding video of it was like a Premier League video that they put up of the 2004 2005.
Ah, brilliant, wasn't it?
It was just like when you look at football then and you look at football now, it's a completely different game.
And I want to,
But
you know
listen,
what, I want to, for the
we
listeners back home, I want to just emphasize on this, right? We've spoken about this and like football, it's becoming a bit repetitive. We're repeating ourselves each week. We don't want to go on about the Club World Cup each week. So we're actually going to take this into a bit more of a nostalgic episodes now and see how it goes with the listener. The listeners have said they like it. We want to give you a little thing. If you like what we're doing, we're gonna do it. We can still keep a bit up with current affairs, but we're gonna do a bit of nostalgia because we're getting bored with and a bit like my Instagram, I want to keep it a bit more positive. So I think if we remember good stuff.
says the man sitting in fucking Bora Bora or wherever you are and complaining about the food. Let's keep it
Right.
positive, boys.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just gonna before we get into the debate today, quick update on transfer news. Looks like Chelsea are having a good go. Why are you shaking your head?
I don't want him. I do not want Jao Pedro. I
No,
do
you don't. Why not?
He's not even in the
What's
top
wrong?
five strike. He's not even in the top five strikers in the league. The guy thinks he's R9. He's got a good penalty record, but look at his stats. Like got
I
10.
think you're going to eat them words, and
Yeah, I think so too, you know.
I would love to
I
be
think adding him into a squad with Jackson and Delap and Pedro, I think that's a really, really. I'm looking at Chelsea going, and Gittins is the other one that they're talking about.
Well,
I'm looking at
I
Chelsea
understand
going, these could be challenging this year.
I can understand buying the wingers.
Challenging for what? Top five?
I think they'll be going
Not
for
going to challenge for the league, are they? Come on.
I don't until we get rid of Sanchez. We're not. I was devastated we didn't get that.
I agree with that. I do agree.
Yeah.
I do think, but there was rumored. I'm going to quickly brief.
They're done
Spend a
deals.
load of time on them.
They have done deals. Chelsea have got Pedro. He's on his way out to the Club World Cup so he can play against Palmeiras. We got that Gittins.
40 million, wasn't he?
60.
60. Mm.
It's like it's just not for me. I mean, there's
I
no.
don't know. When I've watched him, I think he looks good. I got to say.
I think he looks good too. I agree with that.
I think it's a good signing,
I
Chelsea.
also understand what you're saying, Sam. Like,
Much better
Yeah, you
striker.
want to go and get a
but
big
what's the
well-known.
alternative for you? You
Yeah.
know, apart from,
Okay, let me tell you, I would have spent the 60 on Cunha.
but he doesn't want to go to
He's
Chelsea,
not a
does he?
striker either. Cunha's not a striker.
I prefer Cunha to Pedro. They're both Brazilian strikers.
Yeah,
Like,
but Cunha's not a
Yeah,
striker. Or number
But
10.
also, he
Yeah,
didn't want to go to Chelsea. So you
Well, we-
spend the money on someone who doesn't want to be there.
I don't know if I mean, but again, like you know why all these players want to come to us. He's coming on a 7-year contract.
I know. I know.
It's a
That's
7-year
the worry.
contract. Like, it's just madness. And like I understand buying the wingers because we've lost Mudryk. He's done for at least 2 years. If he doesn't get the full 4-year ban, and we lost Sancho.
Do you think, Sam, with all these 7-year contracts and all this business, that Chelsea in 4 years' time are going to end up with an absolute boatload of players who are just sitting there because they got 3 years left on the contract?
Or out on loans.
So there will no doubt be that with some of them. But you look at, I mean, I look at players that have drastically improved for us this season in particular. And for me, my most improved this year is Enzo Fernandez, without a shadow of a doubt.
And Casado.
I said it was good in his first season for us, but it's been even better second season now. Like those two, like they are, although
Jackson as well.
get rid of that fucking donkey. He's been sent off twice in 4 games. Like he's
You know what? I've just linking that in there. I saw today that Arsenal could go for him.
I'd be annoyed if he went to Arsenal.
Mate, I would find that hilarious if Arsenal signed Jackson. That would
So would
be
I. They want a top
that would
striker.
be hilarious.
So Arsenal are linked with Eze
Yeah,
at the left wing and Jackson. They're saying if they can't get Gyökeres or Sesko, that Jackson could be an option. And obviously
There's,
Chelsea probably offload if they've got two other strikers in Delap
but
and
there's no reason why Arsenal should not be able to get those previous two. There's just no reason.
Let me ask you this question: why wouldn't have Arsenal gone for João Pedro if he's that good?
well, Arsenal don't seem to have gone for anyone yet.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Arsenal are
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
just to emphasize on that, Arsenal are also at a later stage of their project than you guys. They've come second last 2 years, so they are above Chelsea, where you are.
Yeah, but at the same time, they were still playing with Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus up front. I mean, like, surely
Without a doubt, they need a striker. Without a doubt, and I think if they don't get it, they're in big
They'll
trouble.
get it. They have to. If they don't sign a striker this year.
That some of them, like Chelsea now, haven't gone in for Mbeumo as well. It looks like the Man United one's still rumbling on. Spurs look like they want him as well.
the money. He wants 250 a week. I can't see Chelsea paying 250.
Well, they apparently United have offered him it though.
Yeah, but the United need United desperately need him. They need him bad.
United need everything in every position, don't they?
I know. What do we think about Pogba resurfacing at Monaco?
Yeah, I know. Hey,
Yeah, to be honest with you, he's like one of those, isn't it? He's like he spoke about this big
and all that shit.
He was making out like 6 months ago he was going to be going around Madrid and all that, and he's ended up going a year later down at Monaco. Someone's taking him at a deal there, but right, moving on from transfers. Today's topic to discuss is the greatest English manager of the Premier League era. So famously, an English
as in from England.
So it is not Kenny Dalglish. It is not Alex Ferguson. Because then it is a mad stat that an English.
There's not many of them.
Premier League. When you look down the list, how few actually have ever done even well.
Who was the last one to win it?
There's never Howard Wilkinson.
Howard Wilkinson.
Yeah,
he's the only one to win it, I think.
Before the Premier League.
The last season.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. And that was the first year of the Premier League, I think he won it, didn't he?
No, the year before it started.
United won the first
one.
Oh,
wait. No, it couldn't have been.
United won the first Premier
League. 1991 was the last year of the Football League.
Wow. So what? Wait, are we saying that an English manager has never won the English Premier League?
Never.
Closest would have
been
closest would have been Kenny and Sir Alex.
Well, yeah, which are both Scottish. Wow. Okay. Well, then there are none. That's a silly question. Move on to the next one.
No,
we've all got. There are shit English managers. Clearly.
No. What, you're going to say Bobby Rob? You can't say Bobby.
The discussion is the greatest English manager of the Premier League era. Not about who won. We're discussing English managers.
I mean,
so I'll give you a list of some of the best ones, right? To get you started, right? We've got Harry Redknapp, we've got Sam Allardyce, Tony Pulis, Eddie Howe, Sir Bobby Robson, Kevin Keegan, Big Ron, Roy Hodgson, Glenn Hoddle, Graham Potter, Sean Dyche, Alan Kirbishley. There's obviously more.
All right. If that's the top few, then let's just move on to the next question. That's an embarrassing list of people, isn't it?
This is the discussion today. It's not the next question. This is the discussion.
All right. Okay.
I also sent you show notes.
How about Mike Bassett? Let's put him in there because he'd probably win it. He's probably the best.
Shut up.
No, but in all seriousness, clearly it's Bobby Robson, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I don't know. Is it?
I would say.
I mean, the Barcelona. Actually, by the way, you forgot Terry Venables.
No, so I'm also no. Terry Venables was not in the Premier. Well, he managed.
Okay, I mean, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Bobby Robson in Barcelona is not in the Premier League. Also, Newcastle.
All right. So what you're saying is the best managers that were English that competed in the Premier League,
Yes.
and all of
And
their
Sir
other
Bobby is an
achievements.
amazing.
Of course, yeah, but are we discounting the fact that some of them managed England, the fact that some of them managed Barcelona and Feyenoord and all
Yeah,
that kind
because
of
look,
stuff,
to be honest with you,
or
is
PSV?
Sir Bobby Robson the greatest English manager of all time? Probably,
I
because he's
think
a
so.
brilliant England manager, brilliant Barcelona manager, fantastic
Ipswich.
Newcastle, Ipswich. Won? Did he win the league with Ipswich or a cup?
I mean, you won the UEFA Cup with Ipswich.
UEFA Cup. Yeah, I thought he won something, and also just an amazing guy. But there's some, to be fair, there's some proper managers in here. Like when I look at
Like
this list,
who?
Say
like
Harry
Sam
Redknapp,
Allardyce.
yeah, and
Sam
Harry.
Allardyce. When I look at that,
I actually think Sam Allardyce is the answer. If we're discounting the fact that people have managed everywhere else and only talking about the Premier League, I think
yeah,
Allardyce is probably the
You know,
answer.
you know what I also put on there as a good one that's in that elk is Steve Bruce as well.
Steve Bruce done well in the Premiership. I
No,
don't
he
think
didn't. What are you talking about? What
he's
did Steve
been a
Bruce
good.
do?
He would take teams up from the Championship the whole time, and then they would stick around. And then
So what he had a good time at Birmingham, didn't he?
good time at Hull,
Wigan.
Wigan, Sheffield. Was he Sheffield United? He wasn't Sheffield. He was Newcastle at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Newcastle.
yeah, he was Newcastle when he was Newcastle when the Saudis bought it. Yeah.
He's
Correct.
had some. I think Harry Redknapp, obviously, uh, Harry Redknapp, arguably for me, is the best. I think he took Tottenham to the Champions League
Yeah.
when they'd never been there. He assembled a hell of a team. He was great fun for the Premiership. He was fantastic for West Ham. Got West Ham to finish fifth.
Do you remember that season when Tottenham finished in the Champions League places for the first time, and then they were playing that Swiss Young Boys or something like that, and they were like 3-0 down after the first leg and managed to turn it around at White Hart Lane. Otherwise, they were nearly out of it after all of that.
If you look at Harry's
Yeah.
team at Tottenham, Van der Vaart, Gareth Bale, Modric,
Which
who was up front? Keane and Defoe,
Pavlyuchenko.
Crouch. Like they had a proper team.
That's a proper team. Yeah, that is a
Like
proper
the
team.
Spurs had a proper team.
You look at their defense as well. They had Danny
Paul
Rose.
Robinson in goal.
They had Danny Rose. They had Carl Walker. They had Vertonghen. They had Alderweireld. I mean, that was a proper team. And then, like later on, they brought Ali in and Kane in. Although that was Pochettino's time, but Redknapp left them with a good base on them.
He was unlucky there, Redknapp, because he
Which
left because he thought he was getting the England job, and he
yeah,
really
well that's what I was just
remember
going to say.
even like Stevie G and all that were doing like interviews like, what do you reckon of Harry coming along? And it was
Yeah.
now, but he never even got interviewed for it, did he?
Do you think he a slightly change of track, but do you think he's the best English manager to never get the England job? I think he is.
Yeah,
I think he is.
I would say so.
I think he would have done fantastic with England.
Yeah,
I think
me
he's
too.
exactly what you need as a national manager. I really
Yeah.
do. And now time has passed. He's probably not going to get it.
Isn't he?
No, he's not going to get it now. He hasn't
No,
managed.
that's
for
what I
how
mean.
long?
I feel sorry for him that he never got that. The media stitched him up. He ended up having a court
He was
case.
seen as like a bit of a, ducking and diving and all that kind of stuff, which was very unfair, I think, because he was actually a brilliant manager.
Yeah.
Brilliant in the transfer market as well.
He was the best.
Like when you think of some of the Harry Redknapp signings that he made, like West Ham, bringing in Stuart Pearce at 38 years of age, who then went on to win Hammer of the Year, Di Canio, John
But West Ham fans hate him now, don't they?
No, Harry's
They
still
don't?
Listen, what
Because he went to Spurs after.
that soured it a little bit. But he was also sacked from West Ham. So he was got rid of West Ham because of dodgy dealings that was said. And that was really it started a long line of hate with Frank Lampard, really, because Frank Senior went with him, and then Frank Junior left, and then they'd sacked his uncle and his dad. So that really then otherwise Frank Junior would probably be more. Frank Senior is a proper man at West Ham. I think he's like one of our second or third.
He should be as well. He should be well. Yeah, he should be massively well regarded there.
But his like legacy was tarnished because of young Frank, really. Which is
what did young Frank do? What did
listen, when he left, Frank was Frank was young and he was hurt because his dad got thing, and West Ham fans
And
abused him.
also, even if his dad was still there, he was probably going to go anyway, wasn't he? I mean, let's be honest.
Exactly. And then what he used to do to wind the West Ham fans up was kiss the Chelsea badge. Now, a
Oh,
lot
did he?
of,
Okay, I
and he
didn't
used to
know
do it
that.
to the West Ham fans. He used to really rile them
Oh,
up.
okay, yeah, I didn't know
And
that.
then
I didn't know that.
he gave in a famous interview, he said, Joe Cole watches the TV after the match and hopes West Ham's won, and I look at it and hope they lose every week. And
Really? Did he say
yeah, and
that?
do you know what? And it really,
Okay, well then,
I
fair enough.
suppose he
All
was,
right.
but also they called him Big Fat Frank. They
Yeah.
cheered when he broke his leg. Like, so there was that. And I bet he looks
Yeah.
at it and thinks, do you know what? Because actually, he'd be a legend of it. People forget that Frank Lampard Jr. played for West Ham for about 5 or 6 seasons.
It was very good.
And
I only
also
think of him playing there 1 or 2.
he was also brilliant as well. At West
Brilliant.
Ham, I mean, at West
Brilliant.
Ham, like, obviously for Chelsea he was, but at West Ham he was one of the best
He's
players in
kind
the
of
league.
completely legacy forgotten at West Ham.
Yeah.
He's just known as Chelsea's record goal scorer.
Do you know
But
what?
Harry, as I say,
Frank
Harry,
Lampard, when I look at players, that are disliked, like, people get wound up about the likes of Roy Keane and Vinnie Jones and Cantona, and because they're very provocative type of players. I think Frank Lampard is probably the most mild-mannered player that a lot of teams don't like. I can't think of anybody else because for me, Liverpool fans hate Frank Lampard. Or they hated him when he
I
played for
think he
Chelsea.
was too good. He just done so much damage.
But
With his
that's what I'm
goals.
saying. But he never really provoked anybody. I didn't know he did that
No,
with West
it's
Ham
funny because
fans,
he's not like John Terry or Dennis Wise or even Carra.
even John Terry didn't really provoke
Frank,
anybody publicly.
Frank did it. No, John Terry was a fucking wind-up merchant. I mean, he did a lot of stupid shit. Frank did it once and learned his lesson on that whole 9/11 thing at the airport.
Well, yeah, but they were kids.
They were really
young.
young.
They were kids. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He learned his lesson, and that was it. You never saw Frank Lampard do anything stupid ever again.
No, I mean, Frank Lampard is one of the most mild-mannered football players that everybody seems to dislike that I've ever seen. Because everybody seems to dislike him, but he seems very likable.
Because actually, Frank is the perfect West Ham manager. Because he's from the club, he knows the club, he's born into the club.
Yeah.
Everything about him, he's the perfect West Ham manager going forward, a young manager, all of that. He ticks every box to go and be the West Ham manager. And he won't be because the fans would go mad about it. But going back to managers though, Allardyce, the team he built at Bolton.
Yeah. Brilliant.
That was, and do you know what? Actually, for people forget, what he done at West Ham and Newcastle as well. He brought them both up from the Championship.
I thought it was Rafa Benitez that got Newcastle promoted.
No, I think it was Big Sam, wasn't it?
No, yeah, it was Allardyce, yeah.
Benitez did get them promoted one time, didn't he?
No, I think he took over after. I'd have to have a look at it.
I don't think so.
He definitely got West Ham promoted. Do you know what? I was thinking when I was sitting here earlier about this episode, I was thinking of Big Sam. And do you think sorry, my phone. Do you think the media actually killed Sam Allardyce's perception?
Well, it was the England thing, wasn't it? It was the whole thing.
No, before that. Like, obviously, if you said Sam Allardyce, what's the first thought of footballing style that comes into your head?
Before we answer that, Sam, you were right. Benitez did get them promoted.
Did he?
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
No, I didn't know that. I would have never have got that.
I knew he did because I remember thinking.
Well done, good knowledge, Sam.
Yeah,
good call.
He won the EFL Championship, which is pretty mad when you think about it.
Yeah, that's
sorry,
crazy.
George,
yeah.
Because he went from Newcastle to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he was like the one that got sacked, and Alan Shearer then took over and took him down, and then that's maybe when Big Sam came in afterwards and maybe brought them back up.
I don't know. Newcastle was such a
twice?
shit show, wasn't it, back then? Newcastle was such a mess of a football club.
Didn't Aston Villa get relegated once?
Yeah, Villa got relegated.
Yeah.
Villa got relegated
With Dean Smith.
Yeah, Newcastle, their last game, because I always remember Newcastle played Villa at Villa Park.
Yes.
And it was that game when they got relegated. It was that game. Yeah. Because for me, Newcastle and Villa are both very, very similar type of clubs.
Yeah, they have
Big
it.
clubs, but they've never really won anything, either of them.
Well, Newcastle haven't, but Villa did obviously
Well, no,
when they won the
I
league.
mean, in
A long
recent
time
times,
ago.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
in our lifetime. In
Yeah.
our life, very similar club. Same as
Yeah.
West. They're very similar clubs. All big supported clubs.
Yeah.
All, they're very Spurs. They're all the same.
Everton are the same, aren't they?
And before the takeover, Man City, exactly the same sort of club, big supported club.
I would even say before the takeover, West Ham, sorry, not West Ham, Man City were not as big as the likes of Everton or West Ham or Villa or Newcastle.
Maybe, they were more of a yo-yo club. But I do think that, like, when you think of Sam Allardyce, you think of long ball, boring football, and I wonder if that was born out of. Because the side he built at Bolton was incredible. They were obviously on a budget. At one point, they had some proper superstars. Obviously,
they had Jaskalainen. Well, let's start from the goalkeeper. They had Jaskalainen in goal.
Good goalkeeper.
They had Ivan Campos and Hierro at the back.
Nicky Hunt right back.
And then Matthew Taylor left back.
Yeah. Mate Taylor, great player as well.
He's a player that the streets won't forget with his long range.
Later on, yeah. And then
their midfield was a Kocher and
Nolan. Kevin Nolan played there for a long time. He was their captain, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, Kevin Nolan, a Kocher. I
think
who else was it? Who was on the?
Where did Djorkaeff play? Was Djorkaeff
the second striker? He was like up there with Michael Ricketts, I think.
And Kevin Davis.
How do you remember? Kevin Davis, yeah.
I wish my memory was this good for other things. Like, it's funny how I can remember who played for Bolton in 2003. I can't remember what happened for London yesterday.
I wonder. Sorry, this is my point. I wonder if that perception of Allardyce came from people like Wenger and Jose and people like that at that time that couldn't beat him, and they put out this negative connotation about him that just stuck. Because when I was at West Ham, that football was no different to Potter, to David Moyes, to all these people that are out there, that isn't any different. And actually, I bet you at that time, where he got his time at Bolton, he built that team up and up and up. Obviously, he had no money to do it. He couldn't just go in and buy a load of players. He'd done it over a progression of seasons. And then he got them into Europe. I bet you them people all said that was the most exciting time at Bolton.
100%. Do you remember he always used to have Arsene Wenger's number, didn't he?
Arsenal could never.
Oh, yeah. Wenger and Rafa Benitez used to hate him. And Mourinho as well, right? But to a lesser extent.
I remember West Ham playing against Mourinho at Chelsea, and I think we got a 0-0 draw. And they went, Jose said you parked the bus, and he went, did he? He said that's because he couldn't beat us. And it's just like,
I do.
I remember that interview, yeah.
He was a good character, Sam.
What about there's that funny clip of him laughing at that Swansea defender, like falling on the
That's
floor.
when he's
laughing at it on the sideline.
Chico, was his name Chico?
Chico Flores or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he holds his face, doesn't he? And
didn't he like point at him?
He's like,
He was a good character, Sam. I've got to say.
He was great.
Do you know? And actually, not a Premier League. I'm going to we'll finish up on this one. Not a Premier League manager, but it's a shame. Everyone I ever hear talk about him, Glenn Hoddle. Everyone who played under him.
He was a Premier League manager. He was Chelsea.
No, I mean, but he wasn't an amazing Premier League manager as an England manager.
He wasn't an amazing England manager either.
I was talking to Joe Cole about him, and Bridgie and that. They said he was insane as a manager.
Well, and a lot of that though will be because they grew up idolizing him, right? Like he was.
I heard Rio talk about him and said that he was so forward thinking with tactics, training, everything, that they all say it was such a shame that he stopped like managing.
But he got laughed out of it, didn't he, with that whole Irene Drury?
It was a comment about the
healer stuff.
Yeah, or like she was on the fortune teller or something like that.
And then there was the thing where when he was
get sent off, did she?
What's that?
Didn't call Beckham getting sent off, did she? Even with her fortune teller.
Yeah, good. Yeah, but
she was a faith.
That was it.
But she was a faith healer, wasn't she? But then there was remember the stories that came out when he was telling people that they weren't in the World Cup squad, and he'd have them come in one by one in the office, and he'd have Kenny G playing like nice, relaxing music just to tell people that you're not
Gaza
coming to
smashed
the
the
World.
place up,
And
didn't
Gaza went fucking bananas. Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, Glenn Hoddle's clearly a genius, one of the best
I
football
love
players
listening to
England's
him
ever
on
produced.
commentary, Glenn Hoddle.
Do you know, I like listening to him. Period. Remember the overlap episode he did? It was great. Like
He's very good.
yeah. But I don't know whether his man management skills are there.
No, well, some of them say that Fayfield and that because I've heard Seaman talk about it. Said that he sort of went, he like got in it, but then he said, then someone like Ray Parlour went in and he said he sat down in the chair and said, short back and sides.
Really?
To Eileen Drury, the Fayfield, as a blinder. Yeah. Right, moving on. Right, the the last part. We've got two parts to our last part. We're going to finish on a quiz where we're going to pit you two against each other.
Oh, fucking hell. You could have told me about this.
And then, right, our next bit is which Tony hates this name, and I've got to say, so do
Oh,
I.
it's a terrible name, but go on. We're gonna do
The
it. Go
streets
on.
won't forget player. We're down with the kids on this one, but we're happy to call it legends of the Premier League. But like these,
Cult
basically, player
heroes.
cult heroes that never play for
Fucking
top.
the street won't forget.
We're all going to come up with one each week, right? And we're going from 92 to 2000, right? Early, more of the earlier the Premier League. Who are you going with, Tone?
Oh, wait, do we do that first? All right. Tell me again. Well, because I
Oh
was
my
still,
God.
I was
I'll
I
go
was
first.
worrying about the quiz. But hang on, who are we saying now for the streets won't forget? Fucking daft name thing. But go on, who are we saying?
I would say if it was Michael, I'd say Tony Yeboah would be my first choice.
Oh,
Oh man, you're a prick,
tell
Sam.
us
That's a
about
fucking
Tony
good one.
Yeboah. Tell us
That's
about
a
Tony
very
Yeboah,
good
Sam.
one.
What? I mean,
Yeah.
he only
Who
scored.
did he play for?
They played for Leeds. He was a Ghanaian striker, if I remember right.
Ghanaian, yeah.
Ghanaian striker, played for
I
Leeds.
think he was massive in Germany, and I've got a feeling he was a big Frankfurt player because when we went to Frankfurt, there was a big mural of Tony Yeboah on the wall.
There you
So
go.
really?
There you go.
Wait, was he a Frankfurt before or after
I,
Leeds?
I have no knowledge if he was a Frankfurt player or not. There was either Frankfurt fans like Tony Yeboah and it's a mural on some council estate, or I'm gonna have to check if Tony Yeboah played for Frankfurt now. But
Frankfurt or Hamburg or someone like that.
it was in Frankfurt when West Ham played Frankfurt. There's a big
I mean,
mural, Tony Yeboah.
He must have played there then, yeah.
Better
He
than
Do you know
that.
did.
what that's
Frankfurt.
a
He played for 5 years, 1990 to 1995, before he signed for Leeds, and then he went to Hamburger SV,
There you go. So
okay.
and then Al Ittihad. So
Good on him.
Leeds. What is he best known for at his time at Leeds?
Oh, mate, those volleys.
two best goals. He was the volley king. You can imagine. Can you imagine how many of those he did on the training ground? Like,
And let's be honest with you, when you're a kid and you hit the underside, even to this day, hit the
yeah,
It's a
underside the bar,
Yeboah.
it goes in.
It's a Yeboah.
Yeboah. You
Oh,
scream
he scored a Yeboah.
and not
Yeah.
and the only other thing I would say as well is there is not one other player from the early 90s that still features in every reel for like the match of the day highlights or the Super Sunday welcome intro. Like you'll always see Yeboah still in there because he is definitely someone that left his mark on the Premier League early doors. And it was sad to see him. That goal against Wimbledon and that goal against Liverpool were just.
Oh, mate, the goal
If you
against
have
Liverpool.
not seen them goals, go on YouTube
I
and
still
check them out.
remember where I was when I saw that goal against Liverpool. I was devastated.
That's why the streets haven't forgotten, Tony.
Oh,
And that is why the streets have never forgotten. I'm going for my one, Streets of Not Forget player. And this one excited me. Tino Asprilla.
Yes, what a player he was.
Oh, what a man.
The Geordie.
Yeah, he was.
They signed him from Parma in Italia, in Italy. He came, and I think they unveiled him, and he was wearing a sheepskin coat. if I remember. I actually still remember his debut, and I'm not even going to check this because I know it's true. It was against Middlesbrough, and he came on. He had these huge gloves on, and I think Newcastle were losing, and they either ended up drawing or winning. He was unbelievable. The trickery of this guy. He was like a elastic, wasn't he?
You remember his famous?
Asprilla.
He scored a hat trick against Barcelona, didn't he?
Put the old shirt on the flat on
Did he
the.
really?
Yeah, he got a hat trick
Scored a
against
hat trick for
Barcelona.
Barca.
No, for Newcastle.
Newcastle against Barca in the new camp.
Yeah, no, was it the New Camp or St James's?
I'm sure it was in the new
I
camp.
do remember him getting that hat trick because that's what really put him out there. It was what this
I
guy's
think
got.
he was only there 2 years. He wasn't a prolific scorer. I looked at his stats the other day. He wasn't a prolific scorer anywhere he went, but he was
He
one of
was.
these players.
Remember though when he used to run, like his arms used to do this. He was just so he was so unique in the way he used to play.
It was Ferdinand and Asprilla, I believe, first, and then it was Ferdinand Shearer, and then Asprilla would have been there just
Okay,
for a
that
little
makes
bit.
sense. Yeah.
And then he went back to Parma. But he was one of them players that was shrouded in controversy. I think he had loads of controversial things. I think he ended up years later at like Darlington or someone like
Somewhere
Did
that.
he?
somewhere random like that. Yeah, I do remember that he turned
Like right at the end of his career, I don't think he ever played a game. He ended up
like Burton Albion or someone like that.
with
Let's have
someone mad, wasn't it? But
yeah.
have you got one, Tone?
I'll go for Emerson. Remember Emerson at Middlesbrough?
Oh, with the black curly hair.
He looked like. Have you ever seen
Oh,
Dave
actually, a
Chappelle, Rick
manager we
James
never
skit?
mentioned, Brian Robson.
All right. Well, Brian Robson's not a. He's a legend. He's not a cult hero. He's just a.
No, no, no. I just said a manager, English manager.
Oh, a manager. Oh,
Another
yeah,
one.
because he was Middlesbrough manager. Yeah, you're right. But he didn't do too well at Middlesbrough, though, did he?
No, I think he got him relegated in the end.
He saved West Brom. He's famous for saving West Brom on the last day, isn't he?
Yeah, Kieran
Who?
Richardson.
Yeah, Kieran Richardson and Jeff Horsfield.
Yeah. The right, yeah.
Remember
Emerson.
him?
Remember that little dance he used to do where he used to sit down like, on one leg?
Because
Like,
he was Brazilian, wasn't he? He was Brazilian, Emerson,
when
I
you
think.
think of that team that they assembled at Borough,
Oh, mate.
Robson,
Ravanelli, Janino, Emerson.
they had one side there, didn't they?
That was just after, because I think the chairman or the owner is still the same fella, isn't it? Steve Gibson. I think he just bought it for Middlesbrough and went big. But remember Ravanelli? I mean, Ravanelli, any of those players, actually. There you go. Yeah.
With Brian Robson.
Did you ever see the Dave Chappelle show?
Yes.
Have you ever seen it?
Have
Have you seen the Rick James character he does?
Well, it is. He has got Rick
It's fucking
James
Emerson.
there, Emerson. Yeah, the old
Yeah, it's
glow in
exactly
it.
him.
Like it's all. It's like unbelievable, isn't it? The Barnet.
Yeah, but he was a good player as well, though. By the way, he wasn't
Hey,
just like he was
Didn't
a
they
good player.
lose in the cup final, the League Cup and the FA Cup at the same
I
year,
think they might have.
and got
Yeah,
relegated?
did they really? Yeah, I don't know about that,
Remember
but
They lost.
Chelsea?
They lost to Chelsea to the Roberto Di Matteo goal that Di Matteo
oh,
scored.
remember that goal, by the way, Di Matteo. Oh,
That was a Yeboah, wasn't it?
almost like they didn't hit the bar.
It was a good dribble and smash off.
Oh, yeah, superb goal.
That was 96, 97. And then no, sorry, 96, 97 that was. And then 97, 98, we beat them in the League Cup final. Di Matteo scored again, and I think Frank Sinclair might have scored that game.
Was that a year later? Was it? So they didn't feature, right. So they didn't feature in it. But Brian Robson got them to two cup finals.
They might have lost to somebody else. That I do think I remember them losing in a couple of. I don't know. It could have been.
Who else did Brian Robson manage apart from Middlesbrough?
West Brom.
West Brom. That was all I can remember.
But just those two?
And didn't he go to like China or someone like that? Sure, let's have a look.
No, I don't
India?
know. I have
to
no
India
idea.
or somewhere like that. I'm not sure. They were the two in England, I think, which is weird. Why he never got another job, was it?
Especially after Middlesbrough, yeah.
Or why he was never a coach at Manchester United. Well,
Yeah.
it's weird how Fergie never bought. Do you know what? I saw a comment with Brian Robson yesterday, but he said like me and Fergie used to row. Like, he said at the end, his last ever game for United was the cup final in 94, 95, Sam, against Chelsea when you lot got battered. And he said, Fergie never put him in the squad for his last game, and he said I was fuming about that. That would have been my last ever game for United. Spent 13 years there, and he
He did.
said,
I'm just looking at his stats now. He also managed Bradford. So he was in Middlesbrough for 7 years, then Bradford, then West Brom, then Sheffield United, and then we were right thinking he went out somewhere far east. He was the manager of Thailand.
Thailand. I said India, didn't I? You said China,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah. We knew it was somewhere out towards the far east somewhere,
But
but
yeah, 7 years. I would never have thought he was at Borough for 7 years.
no, he did
Long
well.
time, wasn't it?
He did very
Yeah,
well.
that is a long time, isn't it? Yeah.
How about
But
this for a forgotten name of an English manager that was around and did well in his clubs?
wait,
Obviously,
give us a clue. You got to give clues who it is, and we got to guess it because
all
that's
right.
what we're going to lead into.
So, two London clubs he was the manager of.
Yeah, Alan Kirshley.
Correct.
Fuck off! They did do Oh, that. Well, okay. What was the rest of the
I
team?
was going to say he nearly took Sam's team down, but that would have given it away too much.
Yeah.
He
No,
was,
because it could have been Avram. Oh no, he did take us down.
yeah. Do you remember? I mean, he was like Alan Kirbishley. He was just one that just disappeared off the face of the
Yeah,
earth.
he
After West
did,
Ham,
didn't
he never
he?
managed again, did he?
Never
But no,
managed.
no, no, it wasn't him. Who was the fella who managed West Ham who had the brain tumor?
Glenn Roeder. He went to
Glenn,
Newcastle
yeah,
after
Glenn Roeder, yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
was he was
yeah.
Norwich manager as well.
Norwich.
Glenn Roeder,
Yeah, he died, didn't he, Glenn Roeder?
yeah, he
Yeah,
did, yeah,
sadly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
Very
He
good.
well, didn't he have something to do with England as well, that fella?
Yeah, I think he was Glenn Hoddle's assistant.
Yeah,
actually, do you know what? That I actually completely even forgot about Glenn Roeder. That's mad. That,
Yeah. What
that
people forget is Glenn Roeder's first year at West Ham, he finished like seventh or eighth.
yeah, they did really well. He,
And then
he
and then got relegated with possibly the best team of Premiership history to get relegated with the most points in Premiership history, 42. When you look at the people in that team that went on to win the league,
oh yeah,
like that like
Carrick's the Joker.
Lampard. Oh no, sorry, Frank weren't there. No, Cole,
Carrick,
Carrick, Glenn Johnson,
yeah.
Defoe, Di Canio, Canute. It's just look, that team was insane.
Did Paolo
David
play-
James,
did Paolo-
David James.
proper goal, like proper team that was.
Sam, did Paolo Wanchope ever play for West Ham?
Yeah, after Derby.
Yeah, I thought. I
Yeah,
remember.
we had at one point it was One Chop, Canute, and Di Canio as our strikers, and Trevor Sinclair, who actually was a right wing back for us.
Isn't it crazy how many good players West have gone through West Ham?
I'll never
Yeah.
forget. Remember that bicycle kick Sinclair scored for QPR?
Oh, in the FA Cup
Oh, yeah,
with the
yeah.
dreads, the short dreads.
Yeah.
He was a proper player, Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
It was good for
Trevor
England.
Sinclair is fame plays one of the most famous balls to the Di Canio volley, which is also one of the best.
Oh, for the scissor kick.
Yeah, Trevor
Yeah.
Sinclair. If you watch that ball that he plays, he's unbelievable. Like the goal gets applauded, but you look how far he plays that ball. It's incredible.
I would also say
You know what? Di Canio was going to be my the streets will not forget thing, but it was too obvious.
He'll come into it. Don't you worry. We don't need to go
obvious.
all out. Right, we're going to finish it up on a quiz today. We're putting this in, and it is a "Who am I" quiz.
Okay.
Right. Here's the rules. I'm going to give a series of clues. These are not too hard, right? And when you think you got to raise your hand or say me, right? If you get it wrong, you are out. So the next person can take their time. If they get it wrong, you're back in, right? And we're serious. Got it. It's 3 questions. We're starting off on this one. Who am I? I played for QPR, Newcastle, West Ham.
Les Ferdinand.
Oh, Tone.
No?
Was he right?
Tone, who did you say?
I said Les Ferdinand.
Correct. Sam, I honestly, I changed the order of it because I obviously Spurs was
Oh, what?
by.
So you're trying to fucking favor Sam? Thank you. I appreciate
No,
that,
no,
you
no.
prick.
I actually favoured it because I thought Sam will get this on QPR Newcastle. I honestly
Oh,
thought.
I didn't
but
know.
what you're saying
I
is
didn't know he played for West
you
Ham.
said it in that order for
Yeah,
Sam.
that's what I was thinking.
No, no. I
Yeah.
said it in order for you to get it, so Sam wouldn't get it because I thought Sam would get it on QPR Newcastle,
I
and then
would have done.
if I say Spurs, he's got it.
I would have done that. But
I'm
yeah,
shocked. Well done, Tone. 1-0.
yeah, well done,
That might
Sam.
be the only one I get, but crack on, let's go.
Also, amazing player. Les Spurs. Sir Les.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, he was, yeah.
Right.
So you're not saying it in order of what they played for the clubs. It's just
I didn't. I didn't with that one because
Yeah.
I just thought, to be honest, with you, I thought it was a too easy of a question.
Fair enough.
With QPR, Newcastle, Spurs. I just thought it was too easy, so I just tried to switch it up a little bit. Right. I'm Dutch. I was bought by Leeds, and in the second
Jimmy
season,
Floyd Hasselbank.
Supposed to put your hand up, not shouting them out. I put my fucking hand up.
What?
I put my hand up to say Hasselbank.
Fuck off with the hand. What? We got to put our hand up. Were we in school?
the rules was hand up or me.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do that for the last one either.
Well, I'll let you off that one. But yeah, Hasselbank's coming to me because I had my hand up.
Right, I'm gonna to make this interesting. I'm giving it to Sam for a default.
Get the fuck no, you can't. No.
You can't shout.
It's all on this last one.
Forget this hand up bullshit. What if we've got bad internet connection? And I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like, let's
Now,
just.
We're in America with our fast internet. No excuses.
All right, so it's
Just
still
quickly
1-0 to me. Let's discard that question
No,
because
it's 1-1. It's 1-1. It's all going to go on the last one, right? Because it makes it more fun.
outrageous.
Just
Yeah.
on Jimmy Floyd.
Wait, okay. So for this last one, do we have to say yes, sir? I've got the answer, sir.
Whoever shouts out the name first.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Let's go.
Let's go.
Right. I just want to go to Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank here. Look, listen to this stat. In the second season, he was bought by Leeds. He was the joint Golden Boot winner. Then he went to Atletico Madrid, where he finished the season joint top goal scorer, and Atletico were relegated.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's
What
why
goal scorer relegated?
By the way,
How
what
bad
a
of stat is that?
football player. What a player Hasselbank was.
And then he went to Chelsea. It's funny. You think, when I think of Hasselbank, I think of him at Chelsea. I forget he was at Leeds a lot of time.
Middlesbrough. And
Yeah.
No, I mean
Chelsea,
Leeds
Middlesbrough,
for
Charlton.
me. Leeds for me is the team that I think
You
of.
think of it.
Obviously, Leeds and Chelsea, but Leeds is
Chelsea.
is the team I think of them as.
What a player. Do you remember he had no backlit goal, did he? With his
Superb.
Right.
Superb.
We're getting into it. Whoever gets it. But remember, if you shout it out and you're wrong, the other person gets the next
All
club.
right, go on, let's go.
Tony's typing it into Chat GPT.
I'm not. I'm so not.
Right. I was a part of the class of 92. I played for Crewe, Leicester, Birmingham, Blackburn.
Keep up.
No.
Carry on, Sam.
So I'll repeat again. I'm a class of
No. Wait. That was your only clues.
No. I'm just going to give you a recap.
Okay, go
If you're
on.
listening at home, I'm a member of the class of 92. I played for Crewe, Leicester, Birmingham, Blackburn, and Derby. I earned 39 caps for Wales. I've also been the manager of Macclesfield. I cannot believe no one's got this. I thought this would have been too easy. Most famous team he played for was probably Leicester. One of the biggest shithouses of the Premier League era.
Robbie Savage.
Robbie Savage. Yeah. Okay, but that was mine because you were out, so I won.
Only
but do you know what? I was like 39 caps for Wales. Giggs played well more for Wales than 39. I thought Giggs straight away, but you can't say he was. You can't say he was part of the class of 92.
He
He
was.
wasn't.
He was. He was part of the class of 92, Savage.
He was
But
the
what's
original class of 92, the actual youth team.
Yeah. And it wouldn't
He
have been.
wasn't, he
and it
wasn't,
wouldn't
he
have been
wasn't a
Giggs.
senior member of Manchester United. He was the actual class of 92.
And Giggs only ever played for United, so it would never have been Giggs.
No,
No.
I know that's
And
what
Nicky
that's
Butt.
what
How
threw
did
me
you come out with
with
Nicky
with
Butt?
all the loans.
But Nicky Butt
Yeah.
did play for Birmingham at one point.
But Nicky Butt went to Birmingham. No, he didn't. Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Newcastle.
Birmingham.
I know. He only went to Newcastle after United, didn't he?
And then he went to Birmingham.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I can't be wrong
Let's
about
have a look at that. Nicky Butt. He
that. You're questioning the football.
what a player he was.
Yeah. Oh,
You-
there you go.
Whoa.
He was on loan.
Yeah, Birmingham City loan. Great knowledge there.
Did he really?
2006. And then he went to South China and played one game.
Yeah.
All that way for one game.
He went to China and played one game.
One game. One appearance.
Yeah.
I won, isn't it?
It's a long way to go for a game.
Yeah.
All that way. Well, actually, sorry, it looks like he played. Oh no, 13 appearances, 2 goals. Must have had 1 league appearance. So imagine that. The right, everyone, that is all we got time for today.
Hang on. What do I get for winning?
Nothing, just the status quo.
Oh,
If
then that's
Sam.
that's no fun.
I'm actually shocked that Sam, you should hang your head in shame that Tony's got 0 football.
I'll be honest with you. I actually agree. I'm terrible at this stuff. I actually think you should be embarrassed of yourself.
I know, boys. Yeah, that was a poor knowledge. The quick fire rounds.
Right. Anyway, I'm getting out of this dump, and I'll see you.
This dump. The Brando Highlanders dump.
Enjoy, fellas. I'll see you later.
All right, boys.